Ashley, I'd like to come to you just quickly. From an insurance point of view, what are you seeing? I mean, you talked about cybersecurity insurance at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Are more people taking out cybersecurity insurance, and are you getting more claims against attacks?
Yeah, so definitely the answer is yes to both questions. We are seeing a big uptake on cyber insurance in this region specifically in the past 12 months or so. We have had interest since the product launched, but we're really seeing an upsurge in the last 12
months. Is that because people are just aware
months.
of the threat, or because they've been attacked?
I think it's a combination of things. I think definitely the threat is in the media, it's everywhere, and I think some incidents are happening all over the world, not just here. There's a combination then that I think a lot of companies and insurance brokers are doing more to educate people within the companies that there is a solution available. This is a risk that can be transferred to some degree. And then again, I think it's just directors are very aware of this, and it is, like, depending on the sources, either first, second or third most prevalent risk on most directors and officers' minds. So that clearly trickles down to, okay, we need a solution, what do we need to do? And so insurance can be part of that.
Cybersecurity insurance cover then? I guess it depends on what I'm prepared to pay in terms of premiums, but it can be loss of data, or if there's hopefully this never happens, but a power plant explosion or something like that. Where does the insurance start and finish?
Yeah, so if you talk about your traditional cyber insurance policy, it's designed, it's a blend of what we call first party and third party coverages. So first party being the costs directly suffered by the affected company, and then third party, any liability arising out of data being stolen or any of these kind of issues. So if you talk about the first party, it's initially the cost of responding to the event. So you need legal fees, you need IT forensics, you need potentially reputational protection services. Then perhaps you have a business interruption. If your network goes offline, how do you continue your business? How do you work? So those costs are there, loss of profit. If you have an extortion demand, for example, how do you manage that? So the costs of the consultants, the ransom payment, if it's insurable by law, can be covered as well. Then you come along to the third party, so an affected data subject, data is stolen, they claim against the company because of negligence or the lack of the correct security measures. You have the damages and defence costs for those kind of claims. I think as we move on then to looking at now the potential of cyber incidents causing real physical damage, I think it's making insurers think again about how we're looking at cyber insurance.
Right.
So
that's kind of
that's an evolving
later development.
Yeah, so the traditional policy, as I talked about earlier, is basically you're talking about intangible loss. So it's loss of data, resulting legal liability, and the first party costs. Now we're moving into, okay, what happens if there's a cyber incident and it causes a fire or an explosion, which is something typically and quite often is excluded from your traditional insurance policies, like a property policy or an energy policy or a marine policy. So I think a lot of insurers, and we as AIG specifically, are looking at cyber now as a peril and not so much just as a product. So whether your cyber incident leads to loss of data or business interruption or physical damage, we have a solution, and that can either be something that's bought back into one of your traditional policies where it had previously been excluded, or something that's added into a traditional cyber policy to broaden it.